Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL Season 28. This is round 5 of the Championship in the F2 tier, and we head to Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. My name is Jess, and joining me as per usual, we got Owen White. How you doing?
Hello, Jess. Hello, viewers. Welcome along to Zandvoort. Another thrilling chapter in what's been a thrilling season so far. Cannot wait.
Yeah, loads of things happened in the championship so far. Lamborghini is leading the championship, but we went to Belgium last week where he won the race. It was not a bad race, to be honest. He secured his second win of the season. Only one of two drivers to actually secure 2 wins without Jumpau, because Jumpau went to F1 last week for the remainder of the season. But yeah, Lamborghini is the one that's shining at the top of the standings right now, and I wonder if he's going to stay like that this week.
Well, this is it. We're on another completely different track, and obviously we've had so many different situations this season. You just can't tell, but his underlying pace has always been there. He was in F1 as well for a while, so we know his pace could be a good chance for him to start pulling away because there's so many changes as well with the grid. He's got to take advantage of his consistency just being here, and maybe he could get a proper championship fight and take this championship by his own, really.
Yeah,
we'll see what he does. We'll see what they all do, because like I say, it's a completely different challenge this week.
Yeah, the first few rounds, we didn't know who was going to be on top of the championship. We didn't know who was actually going to win the race, whereas in Belgium we saw Lamborghini absolutely doing very, very well with the conditions that they were faced with, the safety cars and stuff, and the damage other people got as well. So, yeah, another different track, of course, and one of the newest tracks on the calendar.
Tell if it's just me that's gone quiet, or if it's Jess that's gone quiet, or if I'm talking to a void, or
hello,
Can
you hear me?
To be brutally honest with you,
can you hear me?
Good for you. I'm used to talking to myself.
Can you hear me? I don't think Owen can hear me.
Well, no, I can hear you now. I was talking to myself, though, just in case I couldn't hear you and it was a you problem.
I was panicking then.
Yeah. I was just going into general talk rubbish mode, but there you go, I'm back now.
Good. So anyway, the Dutch Grand Prix, one of the newest tracks on the calendar, and it's one of the shortest laps on the calendar. We could see pole times roughly in the 108s, 107s potentially today as well, but we'll talk about a little bit that later on as we get into the session. We've got 17 drivers tonight on the grid. No Petrus tonight. He's another driver that's moved over to F1 as an F1 reserve. So we've had 2 drivers from F2 move over to F1. So that's like we said, one other chance for Lamborghini to really start to show what he's made of, as well as lots of other drivers, maybe like Gil Banner, maybe even Toxic, who won last time we were here was back in season 26. It was round 6, I believe it was. So not as far as it was this season. It's round 5 this season. So it was line only back then as well. So whereas this season it's no line at all. So this could be a different challenge for him, and he's probably not used to be running no line around this circuit, as well as some other drivers on the grid today.
Well, yeah. Like I say, it's with no line. This track could be a bit of a nightmare, actually. But it's a track limits in general, particularly the last couple of corners. I think I was watching Lamborghini's lap. He's actually abandoned because he's gone wide. So we were saying this before the stream. This is a qualifying track, not a race track. So there's so many different challenges, but it's all really going to be in these 18 minutes of qualifying. So yeah. They might have a reason to leave us for F1 later. We're going to have to be good at this to make sure they stay for us viewers. Please don't leave me.
There was a battle for the lead last season, 2 seasons ago, for the win. It was Toxic and Lakitu, actually. But apart from that, it was mainly a battle between 3rd and 6th. So hopefully the F2 drivers give us something to show today, as everyone has either done a lap or just started a lap. We've got Lars here, who's 2nd place in the championship. As he's binned it, almost in the wall. What a save he's done, but he has invalidated, so I can't go on a hot lap at all with anyone yet. So we'll just have to wait until later on. Caden going in out of the pits now. He's in the Red Bull this week. Hopefully he has much better luck than he had last week, but I remember when he raced in Austria, he actually finished the race. So hopefully this could be a race where he goes back into fruition. Maybe points potentially for the Red Bull driver. Well, he was in the Red Bull. Last week he was in the McLaren, and the week before he was in the Ferrari. I was trying to remember what cars he was in before the stream. But yeah, it's great to see him back, of course. Again, only 17 drivers. It's hard to predict who is going to get pole, but I'm just seeing if anyone's about to start lap. Maybe Goro. Nope, he's going through, I would say, turn 7 as well. I would say Tunetank is pretty much not the best around here. The mediums, well, the softs don't last too long around here, so you're rather going to be doing soft to hards potentially around this track. Soft to mediums, it's doable, but you have to be really quick in terms of pace. So ideally, soft to hards will be majority of the driver's choice, or hards to soft. We've seen the alternate strategy work around here many times in PSGL, so I think we will see a lot of times going through here as well. But yeah, Agoro's about to start a lap, and so is Lamborghini as well as he heads through the start-finish straight.
Yeah, here he comes across the line, Lamborghini, heading towards turn 1. Probably the best overtaking spot. A big lock up there for Lamborghini. Good exit as well, though. He needs to make sure that he gets a clean lap on the board. As you say, as championship leader, he's got to make it clear that he is the man to go on and take this championship. So he's got to start being consistent with the qualifying, etc. And as he heads up the hill, it all looks relatively smooth so far. Down to 6th through. It's an easy corner to spin there, actually, on the exit because of the loads you're taking through there. And here as well, if you get on the curve a little bit like Lars did, you could end up round as well. The game claims he was purple in the first sector. We'll see what the second sector is like as he heads out towards the DRS zone here. I'd be very surprised if you get a single DRS overtake here, to be honest with you, but it's there anyway. As again, the game claims he's purple in the middle sector, so it all looks good at the moment. Last 2 corners, this is where he invalidated his first lap just down the exit, but he's managed to easily get round it this time. And through the oval style final corner, he's heading across the line, and he's going to go P3, just 100th of a second off P1. Nice and close up there.
Yeah, he wasn't purple in the last sector, so I think that's where he lost it a little bit there, but it looked very tidy as well. Currently on pole is KJ in the Racing Point with a 108.1. Not far from the 107s already, even though a few drivers said to me, now we're not going to get in the 107s. I think we could potentially, as the track could evolve pretty quickly as well. No one has opted to go on the medium tyres, everyone on the softs. I guess everyone wants to qualify on the softs anyway. Luca in the AlphaTauri, he's on a lap as well, heading towards the banking, which I really like, as I thought he almost invalidated his lap there as well. This was a track where Niki Lauda has, won the last race here in real life. The track actually hasn't visited here in real life. It's going to be visited in real life this season in real life, and Luca's gone fastest with a 108.0, as that was actually the pole time last season in F2, or the season before. So yeah, I could expect we could go definitely quicker. There's been a lot of patches since we last came here in F2, and we got a lot faster drivers as well. So yeah, expect much quicker lap times than this.
Well, that's what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. An F2 grid at the start of the game cycles more like what an F4 grid would be at this point. So yeah, they are all naturally much faster. And here comes Ballner. He was looking quite good in his middle sector, and he is the first into the 1:07. It's just about 1:07.999, but it still is a 1:07. And there you go, they have got into there with not even half the session gone. So let's see just how low they can go, because as we say, qualifying track, this is where you're going to see the absolute best of these guys today, most likely. And yeah, they're really giving us a show already. Great laps.
Yeah, and as we said, qualifying is important. If you don't hook up the car into pole position, you're going to struggle to overtake, really. So ideally, you want to be first, second, or third, or you want to be doing the alternate strategy outside the top 10, 11, or 12. If you're anywhere else, you're going to be in a lot of trouble as well, with 9 minutes left to go of qualifying. 4 people yet to set a lap time, one of which is, I think it was Benny, who's just came out of the pits. A lot of traffic coming up there as well. I'm intrigued that a lot of people are setting quicker lap times early on as well. That is great to see. Shows that they like this track, but it is quite hot conditions at the moment. But I can see, I'm probably going to see I'm going to predict a cloudy race, I would say, because that's what usually we tend to get in Zandvoort. But you never know. It could be sunny in the race. It could be raining in the race, which hope doesn't happen. But most of the tracks have rained apart from Bahrain Short and last week in Belgium, which was quite a surprise that we didn't see any rain in Belgium. But, you know, how unpredictable this season has been, anything can happen in F2. Lars is going through just past the DRS straight as I think he's backed off his lap. So, yeah, so he's not going to improve there. And Igor is just about to start a lap. And so is Benny as well. The Ferrari's not too far ahead of each other, but you're not allowed to give slipstream to your teammates. That's banned in PSGL, but luckily they got a big gap, so they should be fine.
Yeah, we got Toxic Tomato coming around that last corner. He's going to set his first, probably more sort of, oh no, he's going to do it again. He's going to slow it right down across the line. He still improves. That just tells you how much he had in the tank. I was going to say he's going to set his first proper representative lap, but he does not want to show us his pace for some reason. He must think he's looking good, or maybe he wants to change strategy and qualify mediums or something like that. It seems rather odd. He doesn't want to put a lap time in at the minute, but yeah, stays P13. And yeah, we'll keep our eye on him, see what he does later on, because that is strategic stuff going on for the McLaren driver. But yeah, as you say, we have got some Ferraris on track. Benny is invalid. And we've got CC Braden now coming through the final corner. I think Caden's on a lap as well.
CC Braden's invalidated.
Pits, and yeah, CC Braden invalid. So, Igoro, let's see how you're looking.
Oh, I saw Ballina go into the wall in I can't remember what corner it is, but he got tagged by one of the Renaults, it looks like. So, oh no, it was Luca, not Ballina. But yeah, Luca's got a bit of damage, so he will have to probably go into the pits. Luckily, it's only his out lap anyway, so he can go into the pits. But I'm not sure if the Renault was on a lap or if someone blocked him. I don't have a clue. But yeah, Luca won't be too happy with that.
Well, look, I said before the loads through that corner, it might just be a case that maybe he's got a little bit wide and just lost it.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if they're somehow managing to make contact through there. Unless one is on an outlap, which Greedy LFC, which I'd assume would be the Renault we're talking about. He was on an outlap, he's gone straight back into the pits. But surely they wouldn't have hit in that corner. There's no way they'd be racing into there. So I'd imagine it's a car actually just losing it on the way in.
Yeah, by the looks of things. Yeah, it was a bit of a shame for both cars, but at least they had more chance.
Yeah, it's lucky it's happened now, not at the end. They've got plenty of times. I'm sure some people probably could have got 4 runs done in this session, frankly. They probably will, some of them. KJ was on a decent looking lap, but he's actually backed it off. So we can't really see how he was doing. Higoro had went P6, we'd cut away from him, but he is 6th in the Ferrari, back into the pits now. Looking for someone who's quite late on their lap. Can't really see anyone at the moment. There's a McLaren coming through. That's Svenny to start a lap. And you've got Elting slowing down. So we'll go and see, let's see, Hadler. He's decently through the lap. He's got a Red Bull in front. Might get a nice toe off Caden out of his last corner. Or even through the last corner, because since it is an over-style corner, you probably will get a good run, but that's going to be in the wall if you're not careful. Luckily, kept it out, but it is invalid, so that's a shame for him. Behind World Rally is coming across the line in his AlphaTauri. He's derating quite a lot. Wonder if some people might be thinking about that through the chicane before that last couple of quarters. Maybe just take it down to 0 ERS usage to make sure you get something across the line, because that will be costing you a good 10 for 2. As we see a few more coming round. I don't know how many are actually on competitive laps. It seems a lot of them had started laps and actually given up on them to go for a final run. So we're getting quite a lack of action, unfortunately, at the minute. Fenny is improving, but is he going to keep on with the lap? He's only got 4 minutes 25 to go. Probably enough time to get round and back into the pits, but he might not want to take the risk, especially since he's not actually up by enough to take a position on the grid higher than 12th. But let's see, he will finish the lap, so let's see if he can improve. He can't. Well, he can, but he doesn't improve his grid position, as I said, so yeah. No one wanted to do many laps.
No, he didn't go on ERS mode 0 for long enough, because he just derated a few seconds before he crossed the line. So if he left it on 0 for a bit longer, then he should have been fine as well. But yeah, I have to agree. Even on maybe the heavy braking zones before the final corner, just lift to some ERS, just turn it to 0, and that would really help you with your lap. And I think that's what helped Fenny a little bit there, and that will probably make the difference to whether you are starting where Fenny is, or maybe you're near the bottom, or maybe starting pole as well. So I wonder if people are looking at people's laps at the moment and saying, right, what can I do? I think that could be the potential. That's probably what I will do whenever I go to Zandvoort, which will probably be never on this game now because I don't have a league race there anymore. So I think it's just benefit for people that are still willing to set laps. Benny is still hasn't set a lap yet. He's invalidated, I think, all of them, or has got very, very unlucky. He's not on he's on an out lap. Yeah, that's why. I thought he was on a lap for some reason, but the game was lying to me. But Greeny's about to start a lap. He's back. He hasn't taken part in many of the races this season, but he's both the admins are back this week, so that's great to see. That the F2 crew's back.
Now, for the people who are starting their last laps early, they might have a problem with coming across cars who are just leaving the pit lane. We saw that with Greeny as the Williams left the pits. Didn't get in his way, but it is something to think about if you're Benny or if you are Caden. I think we're starting laps. Sorry, that's Suko actually pitting. But certainly if you are the Ferrari of Benny, you are going to be looking at that as Greeny. Is he going to keep it out of the wall? Either way, cost him time. Has he got enough fuel to do another lap? That's potentially disastrous for Greeny's qualifying session, but we'll keep our eye on him. But taking a trip to the gravel, not going to help the tyres regardless, especially on a track where tyre wear is not good. And if you're looking at doing a soft and medium strategy, which is unlikely, but if you're getting the safety cars, etc., it could be possible. Starting the race on bad tyres is not what you need. So not the best situation for him. So we'll go and see Benny. He's abandoned his lap. So I wonder if traffic has actually got involved there with him. Caden is still going, and he's heading through to the last two corners now. Currently sits P13, half a second off pole position, which is still Bowner on that 1:07.999. Touching the grass, Caden through that last corner. Might cost him a little bit of a run. As he comes to the line, he's into the top 10. Where's the rest of them? Because this is going to get quite frenetic, I think, at the end of the session. I don't really know who to watch. We'll just keep our eye on that last quarter, just see all the cars coming through, to be honest. We've got a few who are all starting laps, so we'll try and find the first one who's actually going to cross the line with a competitive time.
I believe that's one of the McLarens, Greeny?
It's a long way back. It might be KJ. KJ's, I think, going to be the first one to set a lap here at the end of the session. Look at him. He's onto 0 ERS through the slow section here. It also gives you better traction on the exit of this corner because obviously you're using less power, so it just means you have less chance of spinning the wheels out. It's the most sensible place to save the ERS, and then it gives him a little bit of extra as he comes out of this oval style last corner. You can see he's not running out as early as we've seen others, and it's put him up to P2. So close to P1, but just not quite there. We've got Hasses coming around. Ballner is invalid. Lars, I might well have been invalid as well. Either way, he's gone P4, sorry, and he's stopping.
I think that's it for him.
Through. A few more cars coming round. It's going to be quite difficult to keep our eye on this, jeez. They're coming so quickly. We've got some Alfa Romeos. Fabi, invalid lap there, so that's a shame for him. What about the Ferrari of Benny? This has to be a good lap. It's up to P9. Will be interesting to see that stays in the top 10. Lamachina giving it his all. He's up into P4. We've got the McLaren of Toxic Tomato. He's again put the brakes on. So doesn't want to qualify in the top 10 then. What about Igoro? He's into the pit lane. And now Fenny, is he going to do the same thing as his teammate? Or is he going to go full send, try and get into the top 10, or even just go for P11? He stays P14 in the end. A few more coming around. I think that's Luca. Or, sorry, I think it might be his teammate again. He's gone P9, World Rally. Sorry about that. Eltink is pitting. He's already done his lap, of course. Got Ballner, invalid. This one is Luca. Right, this could be pole position. He's been up there all session. Could this be Luca taking pole position in Zandvoort as he comes up across the line? Look for the time. No, not enough. So close. They're all getting so close. It's just not enough for him. Lars is pitting. I think
we've got a Williams.
I think we've got our grid.
Yeah.
Everyone else is on slow laps. So, Alner on pole position here in Zandvoort in the house. Decent lap.
And only one person's getting the 107s. I did say someone will get into the 107s, and Ballina did it 1 second into the 107s, but that's better than nothing, I have to say. But Ballina's had bad luck in terms of the race. He started pole quite a few times this season, hasn't converted it into a win. Not going to say anything more, but Ballina's usually good in qualifying. He just needs to focus on the race, and he should be absolutely fine. I feel we're waiting for, because everyone's crossed the line. I think we're just waiting for Benny to go into the pit lane. And then I'll be luckily, no desync issues like last week. Suku's fine, which is great. Suku got a podium last week, actually, after that restart. So, shows never give up. But we'll just, hopefully Benny will retire the car, because otherwise we'll have to wait for another minute or so. So, we'll just wait for his car to get in the garage. But yeah, I don't know who's going to win this one. It may not be plain sailing for Lamborghini after all, our current championship leader.
Well, no, he's not going to be particularly pleased with P4, is he? Because he's, as you said, he was maybe P3 would give him a better chance, but P4, I don't know, it just sort of makes it a little bit more difficult for him. But we'll see what sort of start they get. It's not a very long run down towards turn 1. I think you're all going to want to be sailing around the outside, quite frankly, if you're going to go for any moves there. And yeah, we'll see how they all do. It is going to be fascinating to see because, like you say, the racing here isn't easy. So lap 1 is going to be where you want to make most of your ground up. But here's the grid quickly. Banner on pole for Haas from Eltink. Then Luca, Lamborghini, Lars, Suku, Fabi, Igoro, World Rally, and Benny are top 10, all on the softs. Outside of top 10, you're going to have Caden, Hadler, Gil, Fenny, CC Braden, Toxic Tomato, who's deliberately found himself at the back. He slowed down on all of his laps. And Greeny, who does have a 5-place grid penalty, probably for the incident with Luca. We didn't see it in its entirety, but yeah, you'd mentioned it earlier, and it's Greeny who the game's given a penalty for, so we'll have to assume it's for that.
Yeah, I assume it's for that as well. But yeah, Ballina was on pole. He's actually a Dutch man on pole position, so it's its home Grand Prix, and he's got pole as well. So I don't think Lars will be happy about that, but it's quite a lot of Dutch people in this lobby as well that wants to win their home Grand Prix. It's always a prestigious thing to win a home Grand Prix as well, especially around the track such as Zandvoort. I wonder if Ballina was practicing a lot for this race because of how much this track means to him. Hopefully he could deliver like some of these drivers today. But yeah, if they mess up in lap 1, then it's probably going to set them up for the rest of the race, unless it's like a safety car, which could change things. So we shall see what happens. But yeah, again, this is not Ballina's first pole position. And we haven't seen many people get pole and win the race. Lamborghini, I think, has been only exception this season so far. But it should be an interesting one. We're almost at the halfway point of the season. After tonight, we'll head to the second half of the season already. So it's crucial that they have a good race tonight.
Indeed. I mean, every race is important, and consistency is so key in these short seasons. And we have seen it really with, pretty much all of the top sort of 5-6 drivers have had at least one non-score. They've got to, start getting the consistency down. And a couple of cars slow up the line there. But, yeah, we'll see how they all do today. And what tyres is everyone going to be starting on? Because, let's say, strategy here will be fascinating, potentially, because tyre wear has always been a big thing around this track. I mean, punctures on the last lap here, not uncommon. We saw it even in Spa last week, of course. So it does happen. And you can see, obviously, the top 10 are all on their sauce. Whether they pit for mediums or hards will yet to be seen. But outside the top 10, you're going to have Caden and Hadler on mediums, along with Toxic Tomato. He's got a plan, by the looks of it, with what he was doing with qualifying. So he's clearly confident in this alternate strategy. I mean, this is one of the tracks, actually, which the F1 boys were really upset about a couple of seasons ago, because they were pretty much convinced that P11 was a guaranteed winner. So Caden might be in that guaranteed winning position. But there are some people on the hards as well. Gil, Fenny, CC Brain, and Greeny. So plenty of different tyre strategies out there. And I really cannot predict what the strategy is going to be tonight. It'd be fascinating to see what's correct.
Yeah, I think most people will do softer hards, but if there's like a safety car in the mix, or some people maybe get lap potentially as well, maybe soft to medium potentially too. So yeah, I think it's going to be wide open as well. But Yeah, if they were to do the soft to hard strategy, they'll be pitting around about lap... I need to get my notes up, actually. Lap 11 to 13 is the pit window for the soft to hard tyres, and then they'll take the hards to the end, which lasts 25 laps the hards. Softs can last 14 laps, give or take, so they want to push their softs for a bit longer. But if they do soft to mediums, it won't make the entire race unless it's a safety car. So... open to anything around this track as we're waiting for the last person to go onto the grid. That is Greeny, Toxic and CC Brain. No one has got disqualified, and that's good news. And a sunny day as well. So let's get to it for round 5 of the championship here in F2.
It's been a crazy season so far, and we're going to get another chapter tonight as we wait for the lights to come up. Here we go. When they all 5 go out, the Dutch Grand Prix will be underway. It's Balner on pole, Eltink with him on the front row, and we are away in Zandvoort. Looks like a decent start from Balner. He should hold on to that lead towards turn 1, as Eltink will just slot in there. Right outside, we've got a few people trying to make some moves. A little bit of ghosted as well. Hopefully that'll mean we don't get any sort of accidents, but you never know on this track as we head through. As I say that, yellow flags, we've got Carnage at the back. Caden's off, I think might be Greeny as well. We'll try and confirm that though. No, it's CC Brain off with Caden. Caden's got no front wing, so that's not gone well. Virtual safety car out. The order's upside down on my screen, so I can't really tell you who's where, but I can tell you Balner's definitely leading from Eltink and Lamakina, who is up in 3rd.
Yeah, so Lamakina's gained 1 position from the start, so he had a very good start compared to everybody else as well, and Balner held position, which is not what he's used to doing, but he's doing very well too, so... when is the VSC going to end? It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a very long VSC. So luckily the order's, I think, fixed on my screen. I think it's fixed on yours, isn't it? Hopefully. Yeah.
And they were all about to start going again, but then they've all slowed down, just maybe trying to get their deltas. But it'll be crucial, actually, when they do go. There's a few people swapping positions. You can't really do that, CC Brain and Kid. And we have gone green now. KJ, Eltink on the back of Balner. Can he do anything about the race leader? Is there any way of getting through on this track? It is difficult. Luca is trying it on Lamarckina. We've still got some ghosting going on there. Don't really know why that is, if that's a game thing, because the guys who are ghosting are falling down the order. I've never seen this before. We've got the blue flag glitch as usual, we've got the lap 3 glitch as usual, but normally this doesn't come with any sort of ghosting. I can't explain what's happening. We've got McLaren's stacking in the pit lane as well. That's disastrous.
Oh.
For a Toxic Tomato. Caden's pitted for the softs. The rest of them are in for mediums, apart from also Toxic Tomato, sorry. Order is fixing itself now. Again, I hope they don't do this every lap.
I hope not.
But, yeah, Benny's got a penalty of some description. Let's just check what that is. It's a 5-second penalty, so probably for speeding. But yeah, it's 4 cars who've already been into the pits. And that leaves only 3 of the drivers who were doing alternate strategies actually still sort of on those alternate strategies. Hadler in strategy pole position then, on those mediums, sitting in P11. Let's see what happens there.
I think Hadler, I was about to say before we actually started the race, but it slipped through my mind actually. Hadler's definitely a driver to watch out for in this race because he started in 12th position and now he's 11th. He's gained from Cage's mistakes as well, and he was very quick in this season and he was lucky on this day to get into the points really well, so maybe he's on the alternate strategy on purpose too. He's closing up to Benny as well as they head towards turn 2 and 3 too, but again, a really hard overtaking spot, so you're going to probably rely on the DRS at the start-finish straight. I think that's where we'll probably see the only overtaking spots right now, but yeah, Hadler doing very well on those mediums. I think it's going to take to around about lap 11 or 13 when the mediums are probably going to be the best tyre compared to the softs, so Hadler will be quicker at the the later part of the race compared to Benny, but for now, Hadler has to stick behind Benny heading through turn 9 and 10 currently. Is he going to get in past with the DRS? I think he's got the DRS. Yes, he has. But yeah, he can't get past. He's a little bit too further back. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get any DRS overtakes around here, to be honest, in turns 10 and 11. But as they all head through the banking to start lap 4, and a huge DRS train from P1 to 9, but no movements yet.
Yeah, the first movement I'm expecting will be Hadler, and you can see that move now happening in the final corner. If you're racing a car that hasn't got DRS, it should be easy enough into turn 1, and Hadler is making that clear. I don't wonder if Benny has damage. He does actually, yes. That's why he's losing so much pace. in that Ferrari. So I wonder if he's going to pit with that on the soft compound tyres. Maybe he doesn't want to sacrifice his strategy, but clearly he's losing a lot of time with that front left end plate damage.
Yes, he's going to hope for a safety car because otherwise he's going to lose, I think, about a second per lap. And with Greeny also catching up as well on the hards, then if Greeny actually overtakes, then that will be a sign for Benny to definitely pit. So Benny has got to get a move on, I have to say. He's already dropped 2/10 off Handler, so yeah. I think it's minor damage from the looks of things. It's not anything major, but even if you do stay on the track with minor damage, it could cost you, as I've learned a few times. So yeah, you just got to be quicker in terms of pace, really, because otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
These high-speed corners, that damage will cost him so much time. So it's not worth staying out with it, in my opinion anyway. Maybe he feels it's better to stay out, but if I was him, I'd just sort of swallow my pride and pit. Because you're going to lose time, you're going to cause problems with other drivers catching up. You have Greeny on him in a second, that'll bring Gill too, and it could just create a bit of a mess. Saying that, actually, Gill's going to get by Greeny into turn 1, so it'll be him that catches Benny first. But like I say, I think with that damage, no matter what he does, it's just going to cost him in the fast corners. But we'll see what he does, we'll see what he does. Because of that, leading trains keep slowing themselves down, and theoretically, actually, yeah, why not stay out? Because it's not like you're going to lose massively, but just... yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that one that will lose out potentially is the one that will get held up in this train as well. So if the likes of Gill and Greeny don't get a move on to get past Benny, then it's going to allow Fenny to be in the picture as well. Don't forget, Greeny started last. He's all the way up into P13 due to the damage that people have got on lap 1. So he's last of the ones who hasn't pitted yet, but still he's got away from the drama and the carnage, and he's... could be on for some good points if he doesn't get any penalties around there. Speaking of penalties, Fenny's got the first one, and that was it was either speeding in the pit lane or speeding under VSC. I think it may be speeding in the pit lane, but I will double check that in a second.
We're in a rather bizarre situation where both of the front two are sort of double bluffing each other with the ERS. They're both not using it. Banner's probably thinking, I'm being so clever, saving all the ERS. And L-Tank's probably thinking, I'm being so clever, saving all the ERS. None of them are doing anything. They're sat there on full ERS, not doing anything. It's a weird way of going racing, but well, there you go. I mean, I'm sure those two are happy about it, because it does just mean if Lamborghini and Luca catch them, I mean, they're on pretty high ERS as well, but not as high. It just means they've got a little bit of extra firepower, but yeah, they're looking pretty comfortable, those two, to be there the whole race, unless, of course, as we say, the ultimate strategy guys get involved. Benny did pit, by the way, he's on the hards now.
Yes.
So we'll see if I take those. Maybe a safety car could help him get to the end or something. But yeah, it's going to be in for maybe a long race. But like I say, if all that train slows itself down, he could end up being a factor. You just never know.
Yeah, you'll have to pit again, because there's no way those hards will get it to the end as well. But yeah, I've noticing a few people with their ERS not using too much, mainly because you can't really overtake. So the less you use, the less you can overtake. What's the point in using your overtake to get past, but you can't get past? KJ was, I think, using his DRS still, but he got a few attempts closer to Ballina. But again, he couldn't get the move done on this occasion. Lamborghini, the same thing. A few attempts closer to KJ, but he can't make the move stick either. But I think Royal Rally could potentially go up for a move against the Ferrari of Igoro as well. Royal Rally winning last season, I think it was I can't remember which round it was in Russia. Hasn't got a winner since, but he's still in good chance of points. Haller's up to 10th after Benny going to the pits, but I believe he's pulled away from Gill, so his next victim is trying to catch up to Royal Rally, which is, it may be easier said than done, but let's see what Royal Rally could do against Ferrari. I think he can potentially get past him, because I'm almost certain Royal Rally's quicker than a Ferrari driver.
Yeah, he is looking quicker, and then the ERS for Igor is looking pretty grim as well, and compared to World Rally. But again, it's just, can you pass here? Especially on the same compound tires, it's difficult. Because I'm sitting here trying to work out what L-Tank even could do to try and get by, and that's in a car that hasn't got DRS, the car ahead, and it's still difficult to try and figure it out. No matter what sort of run World Rally gets, you can see how Igor's DRS just keeps him too far away. You know, it's going to be so difficult to figure this out. Hadler hasn't really got the pace to keep up with us, by the way. He's sort of 2.2 back, and maybe he'll start closing as the stint gets further in, but right now he's just sort of keeping his distance. He has to start saving that ERS himself if he wants to sort of being able to rest it because, like I say, no one in there really is bothering. I mean, look, KGL Tank's not going to want to make the pass anyway at this stage of the race. We've said it so many times with league races on this game, it's not worth it to pass this early because it just costs you too much. Yeah.
I think he's going to rely on the undercut. If he wants to get ahead of Ballina, I think he's going to rely on the strategy, really. He's got to pit a lot earlier than what Ballina does as well, so he's going to hope that Ballina doesn't pit at the same time he does, because I don't know if the undercut's powerful around here, but he can at least try, and if it doesn't, at least he's tried something. He'll still be catching up to Ballina anyway, but I think I'm almost certain the Alfa Romeo will probably go for the undercut as well. Someone goes in, though. That's Luca. That's early. That is earlier than I thought, actually. 1 lap early, 2 laps early, actually. He's going on mediums. Has he got damage? Interesting. That's made the strategy wide open. Does that mean? Well, are they seeing something we don't?
Adler's gone for hard, so that's his alternate strategy be done. So he wants to clean air, as does Luca. But Luca's tires, I don't see them getting to the end.
Unless there's rain.
Maybe there's rain coming. You could be right there. But if Hadler is doing this, and if he thinks he can get to the end, maybe he's more confident in the free air that those guys in the soft will start slowing each other down. But I don't really see how that's going to work because they've now seen soft runners pitting. They might think about pitting as well. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'd be surprised if it's going to rain, but knowing what we've seen so far this season, maybe rain wouldn't be that much of a surprise. But let's see what the leaders all do. Will they react? Because they'll know those pit stops have been happening. They'll see it on their map. And they'll have seen it on the order as well, actually. And they are not blinking the front two. Lamborghini is. The rest aren't, apart from World Rally. So it's Lamborghini and World Rally who are pitting. What are they going to go for? Mediums as well.
I'm calling it. It's going to rain.
Yeah, mediums for Lamborghini, hards for World Rally. Because a 2-stop here makes absolutely no sense. Because a 2-stop around here would rely on overtaking, and that's not possible. So, it must be red. I think you're right, Jess.
Yeah, because the same thing happened in, I think it was last season. I can't remember if it was Xbox or F2, where they were in France. They started on softs and then they pitted on mediums, and I was like, hang on, you can't do that. And then suddenly the rain came. So it's taken me all back to last season, really. So that's what my prediction is. Greeny's gone off in the similar place to what we saw Luca did earlier in qualifying. He's dropped down to 11th now. World Rally's got past him now. Surely, if Greeny knows if the rain's coming, surely Greeny would probably be a no-brainer. He's probably lost a lot of time. So the ones on the halves may have shot themselves in the foot if it's going to rain. But
maybe, but if you're on a hard set now, if you're Gill, you're going to lead this race. And if it rains while you haven't pitted yet,
that could be interesting.
Maybe that's Gill's idea because he is going to be steaming past. He's up to 3rd now as these guys pit. Elting doing the undercut on the race leader, Balmer. Let's see if Lamborghini has actually got by Elting because that could be important for his race because that could put him into the net race lead. If you ignore Gill, which we might not need to do if the rain comes, but he's beating all the people around him, Lamborghini. And good undercut.
Yeah, good undercut. And I did tell you that he needed to do the undercut well, so I have a feeling the order's going to switch. I think Banner's going to be 3rd, KJ's going to be 2nd, and Lamborghini's going to be in the net lead as well. So out of the pit stops, because don't forget we still got Gill that's still to pit as well. So Fabi, another of the soft runners, still to pit as well. Can't remember where he started. He's kept out of trouble, but let's watch Banner to see if he pits. If he does not pit, he's going to lose so much time in the pit lane. This is the earliest you can pit, really, to make sure your hards get to the end. So he comes in, and will it be? I think it will be hards, because I'm almost certain it will be hards, and I think Jeff's telling them to go on hards, and I do see cars going on this car. So
It's weird. Because there's some people who are doing the pit strategy as if there is no rain, but there's others doing it as if there is. Maybe they are just confident they can get mediums to the end. I highly doubt it.
I don't think so.
2-stop makes no sense, but we've been wrong before. But we'll see Lamborghini take the net race lead, Eltink, and then Balner. So, what's going to be the right decision? mediums or hards. Is there rain coming? Plenty to stay here for. Don't leave for F1 later on. We've got a race in our hands, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to strategy, I think, more than anything. And you did say about punches. We did have a puncher last week in Belgium. I think we could get punches here today if you're not careful.
Oh, I think this is asking for punctures if there is rain coming and it doesn't come when they expect, because if they are expecting rain, this split between mediums and hards makes me think that they don't really know when it's coming. They've looked on their map, if it is going to rain, they'll say, oh, it might rain in the last 2 spots. You get 7 little blocks of weather, and let's assume rain will be at the end of all that.
I thought it was 6.
And they just don't know which block it's going to come in. If it is going to happen, like, we don't know the weather, we're just spitballing here really, and we'll see what sticks. But
yeah, we don't
looks
ask.
like Fabi, by the way. Looks like Fabi, by the way, is going to actually go for an overtake. He's on mediums, of course, against a hard runner, so this one makes sense to go for. And he's made an overtake into turn 1. Well done. That's one for the mantelpiece. Making an overtake in Zandvoort. What a move.
Yeah, I think that's where we've seen all the overtakes so far is turn 1. Not much happening anywhere else, really, to be honest. So I think it will come down to the tires as well. Lars, another interesting person that's gone for the mediums as well. And I got to say, I was surprised that the teammates have gone for something different. I thought they would have gone for the same. I wonder if Lars is playing the guinea pig role in this team and is wondering, oh, if I could try this, if that doesn't work, then maybe the hards would have been the best solution. I don't know, but maybe he wants to help his teammate out. But Lars is ahead of Banner in the championship, so I'm a bit intrigued as to why that's happening right now. But we've done the first third of the race so far, and still no changes for the net lead so far. Gil staying out. He's gonna take it, I would say, if he's taking the strategy to the boot, these hards could go to lap 25, to around about, I think, 10 laps before 11 laps before the end. So yeah, he's gonna hope, if there is rain, he's gonna hope that the rain would come. And I don't think there is gonna be rain, because I can hardly see any clouds in the sky. Just nice sunshine, but it is darkened a little bit in some places. So
our sector is definitely getting a bit more of that cloud cover. So we'll keep our eye on it. The rest of the track is nice and bright, but certainly if you compare the main straight to the rest of the track, well, it keeps changing. It's just gone bright again, so I don't know. Oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Because, you know, at this rate, these guys who have pitted earlier will end up catching Gil. So what do they do? If they want to race him hard enough, then that could create some drama. But yeah, that will be interesting, because Gil, it's way too early to pit regardless. So yeah, they might well catch him. Will be quite an interesting scrap, because if he's going to sit in front for all this time, then yeah, if there is no rain coming, he is sacrificing his entire race for no reason. So yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to the rain theory for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that. And if that doesn't work, you can blame me. But that's why I like not asking about the weather. I don't even ask about the weather in any leagues I'm in now, because of the unpredictability. So, and if someone does say in the chat what the weather is, I get very annoyed. So I'm glad we didn't ask for the weather. This is great stuff. We literally don't know who's gonna win this race. All we know, Lamborghini could call off a strategy masterclass. He's already catching up to Gil, so I think we could see another win from him if the rain does come. But if he has to pit again, then KJ could be on for his first proper win of the season. He would have won in Bahrain short if he didn't get a penalty from the stewards with the battle he had with Jumper at the start of the season. So he did go off track, to be fair. So it was a reasonable penalty that KJ got. But I'm surprised that KJ's not catching up to Lamborghini what I thought he would do. But again, it's a hard track to overtake, so he's just probably biding his time, hoping not many people get not many people get no penalties. He's hoping for the only one to get penalties, but only 2 people have got penalties in the field right now. I think one of them was for track limits. That was Greeny. The other was for either safety car or speeding in the pit lane. So they're keeping it. I'm surprised again for that as well, because there was a lot of invalidation in quali. So I'm guessing they're taking it a little bit more cautious. And there's a yellow flag, and Caden falls out the race.
Nasty looking incident on the exit, one of the fast corners. I don't really know numbers and want to, but that screams safety car in my eyes. But they're not putting one out for some reason. You will say it with Gil, if we head round, it's this corner here. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't know the numbers, but you should see a Red Bull just parked in the middle of the track.
Oh yeah! Oh my goodness! If the ghosting was off, that would have definitely been a safety car. I'm trying to think what turn
Benny's
it was.
off as well.
Benny
Benny's off as well.
disqualified.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate. He's spun on a pit lane exit, and they've disqualified him for blocking the exit.
That's harsh, I would say. I'm looking at the track map where Caden gone off. It looked like the middle of turn 7 and the middle of turn 7. Yeah, it is middle of turn 7 before you hit turn 8. So, yeah, an easy corner, I would say, to just spin out, because we've seen people do it in qualifying. So I think Caden got caught out. His second DNF of the season, not nice in the Red Bull, but
gonna make a point before that crash happened. Have you seen what Lamborghini he with his ERS? I don't know, maybe he's realised that he can use it, but he's used nearly all of it. And Elting's just sort of sat there biding his time. He's fine, okay, you can use your ERS. I'm sat on 64% right now, and you're only sat on 21. You know, that's potentially gonna help in the long term, we'll see for Elting. But like I said, it's a waiting game regardless of who blinks first with making mistakes, or well, somehow making overtakes, or if the rain's coming, because you know what, they're not even catching Gill anymore. Now McKenna's sort of not making much time up. It seems they're running quite a slow race. They probably aren't. They're probably pushing, but it just feels like they could be at the moment.
yeah,
Could be tire preparation. Maybe they aren't going to go to the end. They're just focusing on the tires at the minute.
I think the only time I've seen a soft to medium work is someone doing the alternate strategy, medium to soft, and that was Gil on PSGL's social race. That's the only time I've seen Gil make that work. I think he finished second. So yeah, interesting. But Gil's not doing too bad on the hards anyway. So I don't think he's doing the soft to me. It is getting darker. There's more clouds coming up on the circuit, so the conditions are changing. Again, we do not know what's going to happen, as Toxic's having a mind of its own right now. Greeny's having a battle with Fenny. I think it's going to be an easy overtake by the sound of things as he heads towards turn 1. He's fastest overall so far. As Fenny backs out. Oh, it's going to be a risky overtake from Greeny by the looks of things. Not an easy move into turn 1, but he's done it, and he's up to P13.
Yeah, nice move on the inside of turn 1. Fenny, good respect. I mean, he's on the older tyres. No real point in fighting it too much. Again, conditions changing. We can see some dark clouds in the sky. They're sort of starting to form. And it does feel like the whole track is starting to get darker again. So cue the sunshine on the next lap. But I think this time it is getting darker, isn't it?
Yeah,
it
is.
It up in my head.
It's not. Oh, Greeny has gone off in turn 10. Also,
no damage.
No damage though. That was a save and a half. I was safe and Greeny, but well, it was not quite turn 10. It was middle of turn 9 into turn 10. But yeah, his tyres are not good though. I won't be surprised if he pits once more, maybe onto another set of mediums, because that will get to the end regardless. Or maybe if the rain's coming, I can see dark clouds coming out now.
Yeah, it's happening now. The dark clouds are coming. It is.
My theory is right.
Gil. Well, it could just be a tease. It could just be a tease.
Yeah, it could be just dry to overcast and it just stays like that, and it just will be like, oh, game, you teased us.
Do that, yes. But,
no.
It does look like it's happening, because we're only halfway through the race and the clouds have suddenly just changed like that, and these guys cannot get to the end on these mediums unless they perform miracles, in my opinion. And like I say, Gil's strategy, it's making more and more sense by the second. And you know what? Lamakina still isn't able to catch him. And that's the only thing that's made me question this a little bit, is because he's not catching him. Surely on these much newer, faster tires, he would be catching him a little bit quicker than this, but he's not. So, yeah, but it has got darker. You can all see that for yourselves. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, and I think Gil is just quicker, I think, on this track on the hards compared to Lamborghini on the mediums. Maybe Lamborghini is struggling a little bit. So, yeah, that's definitely helping Gil out a lot. But once the track does get more cloudier as well, it's not going to suit the hards. Maybe that's when Lamborghini will start to catch up to Gil. So, he's still around 2. I think it was 2.5 a second ago. Now it's 2.2. So, Gil's going to hope the rain wants to come for him, at least, anytime between now and lap 25. If it comes later than that, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, and then he'll have to pit for maybe a soft and then wait until the rain comes. Then he'll drop down a lot of places. So for Gil, at least, he's going to hope that Cody's have programmed it to the way he likes at the moment. But Gil, when was Gil's last win? Was it when he won the championship back in? No, was it season 26? Wasn't it? I can't remember what race it was.
He won a couple in season 26. I want to say it's something like USA. I'm going to look it up now for you because I know he won the championship. Obviously, it might even been at the last race of the season, but I'll quickly find it for you. Just give us a second.
Yeah, we the longest streak in a while, I would say. But you can see there's two trains starting to close in. Yeah, USA.
So yeah, has been a while for him, but look, he's come down to F2 because he's been learning the wheel a little bit. He obviously struggled last season in F1, and it would be good to see him back at the top step again. And well, if the rain comes, that will certainly help his cause.
Yeah, and for any person that came from a pad to a wheel, it's a struggle. We've seen Blizzard when he changed from a pad to a wheel, he wasn't that fast to begin with, but now since he got used to the wheel, he's back to where he should be. So I wonder if Gil will potentially be where he was in pad pace sooner or later. But for now, he seems to be getting used to it at the moment. You can see Lamborghini behind him catching, but I don't think he's too bothered about that right now, as we're starting lap 22. And I think the medium runners are probably going to be a bit worried if the rain doesn't hold up a bit more. Same with Gil, and KJ's going to hope the rain comes later. Same with Banner, because then they could still be P1 and P2. Same with Suku as well, who got his podium last week. So yeah, mixture of strategies. The only tyre not in use at the moment is the soft, because there's no way you could get the soft to the end from here as well. But if we see someone go on the soft, then we know that it's not going to rain. But we'll see.
Well, look, it's one thing for it to rain. It's not for it to rain enough for intermediates. So, you know, we're waiting not just for the rain to start falling, but it'll take 2 or 3 laps, potentially, for that to then make the track wet enough. Or it could absolutely tip it down like it did in Singapore, and you could go from hard tyres being a good tyre to you needing full wets.
Just like,
which is what we saw at the end of the race in Singapore with that dramatic last lap. So we know how the weather can fluctuate on this game and just turn the track's conditions on its head. Right now, it is still dry, and yeah, just that waiting game, because as you can see, no one's even trying to race. Oh, Eltink!
Oh, that was a save!
He has lost the position. He might well lose 2 or 3 more as well. As Luca comes through, big swipe from KJ. Will Luca have anything to say about that to the stewards? He doesn't get through. KJ being quite aggressive trying to hold the position. Maybe a bit of frustration from the mistake as Lars tries to get involved as well. But yeah, KJ losing it on that last corner, the oval style bend. Once you lose the back end there, it's very difficult to keep a hold up. But he hasn't hit the wall hard enough to damage his car. He might not even hit it at all. But he has lost track position to Ballner as the rain starts to fall. That wasn't anything to do with the rain. That's just started to fall now. So the race is starting to transform a little bit.
I think Gil is very happy that the rain is coming, which means colder service on the track. That means you can manage your tyres for a bit longer as well. So we could see Gil actually winning this race as well. I wonder how good he is in the rain on this game on the wheel, because I haven't seen much of his wet pace on this game on the wheel. Of course, he was good on the pad, but we don't know what it is on the wheel as well. Because of that transition, the medium runners are starting to catch with the hard runners right now, with Lamborghini as well. He's been saved by the weather gods, I think, at the moment. But again, as you were saying earlier, it may be raining, but it's not enough at the moment to go onto the wets or the inters. So they just have to make do with what they got. And CC Brain, he's gonna get a punch. So we hope the rain's gonna fall down hard now. But yeah, because he's on 21 laps now, and that's already past the sell-by date. So as his teammate gets past him and they make contact.
Yep, that's not good, is it? That's
nope.
A bit clumsy.
That's clumsy from the both of them. That's not what you want to do. Let's not turn it to Ocon and Perez from Belgium a few seasons ago, boys. But I'm sure they'll forgive very quickly. They get on with each other well, so no hard feelings from both of them. But yeah, the Renault seems to be struggling, I think, today, and I think that's showing from where they are on the grid.
tires for Toxic Tomato. That's too early, isn't it?
Yeah, far too early.
We need to monitor his pace on them anyway, as Lamakina starts to close in on the DRS. But I must say, looking back at that save from Elton, that was properly impressive. I wonder if he's going to try and get back through the field now, show a bit of aggression, because he certainly showed it with Luca on the main straight after the mistake. But you know, it's good he's still in the race, because like I say, that was a very good save indeed. But he will be kicking himself because he had saved all that ARS. He's had to use it now to try and get back into contention. So yeah, frustrated driver at the minute.
Frustrated Racing Point driver. Yeah. Even though he's catching up to Ballina now, we know the Ballina's still actually in this race as well. He hasn't had any bad luck so far, touch wood. So with the rain falling down, maybe even heavier, this could be a chance for people to maybe take some risks. And it could come down to strategy. So who will blink first? And I think it will come down to their tyre wear as well. Let's watch Toxic actually. As there's
pretty much all these guys laughing. And what a shame.
Fenny and CC Brain have pitted onto the Inters as well. I don't know. We'll see what Gil does. If Gil pits, then probably Jeff's told nope, he stays out. So yeah.
Near enough, I don't think on this lap. Maybe next lap it might get there. As KJ, well, look at that. That was easy enough actually for KJ. Committed, but he's back up to P3. Now trying to catch Mamakina, who's now, of course, into the DRS of the race leader. That could get quite fun, but you can see CC Brain just losing tons of time. So it's not ready for the intermediate tire just yet, but it is getting there. It is getting there.
You can't see spray. You can't see any spray right now. So that's definitely not Inters, but there are some damp parts on the circuit, so CC Brain will probably not struggle in those, but especially the final part of Sector 3, I think he'll be okay, but in any other part of the circuit, he's not going to be best pleased right now as well. We've got another yellow flag. The conditions are struggling. That's a McLaren. Toxic.
He's at the wall as well. Ah, oh, jeez, that's a mess. He's got to get out of that quickly before the Renault comes. Hopefully he sees him. Anyway, he's reversing to the wall quite aggressively. But back to the race leader. Gale's under a lot of pressure. DRS is still enabled, of course.
Yes.
And Lamakina, is he going to fancy a move? Because this DRS is not going to last much longer in this race. Probably his best chance to go for the move will be in these couple of laps just here. Unless, of course, the transition to intermediates is a dramatic one, but at the minute it looks like they're nowhere near it. So Lamakina is going to still have to focus on doing this on track. And wouldn't that be great to see? An overtake for the win here, because he is on the better tyre. You would expect this to be a good chance for him. And look at him, he's climbing all over the back of the Racing Point, but he just can't find a way through. There are 2 DRS zones on this track. We're almost certain you're not going to be able to pass on the next one. Maybe Lamakina will prove us wrong. Look at him, he's all over Gil. Can he get this done? Because he will want to get it done quickly, because KJ Elting, who's so frustrated, probably still, about that mistake earlier, will be all over this as Lamakina closes up. Yellows again, Toxic Tomatoes put a safety car out. Surely they'll all pit for Inters now, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, because I think by the time the safety car comes in, it will be enough for Inters, I think. So why not take the gamble and go on to the Inters now, even if the conditions are not good enough right now.
And you can see, look at that, KJ's already slowing this right up. I wonder if he's doing this on purpose.
He's helping his teammate.
No, but he's helping himself, because he's going to have to stack with his teammate, and he's going to hold the rest of them all up here just to make sure that he can still make a clean pit stop. That is something the stewards might look a little bit down on, to be honest with you.
Yes.
And yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's some sort of investigation for him with that one, because he might well be saving himself positions there, and something that in real F1 I think is actually illegal. But Gil comes out of the pits, leading the race. I'd say it's a common sense thing to do here, pitting for intermediates. Shame we lose the fight for the lead for a little bit, but hopefully they'll still give us a show at the end. And KJ, yeah, he still lost a couple of positions, but not nearly as much as he would have lost, I think, if he hadn't slowed that pack down. But we'll see what the stewards say about it. I think he might be fine, but we'll just wait and see.
Was it one of the McLarens who slowed down in the pit lane when there was a safety car last season?
Well, did it in Abu Dhabi, but they did nothing about it. It's Lewis Hamilton is the one I always think about. Bahrain 2017, he held up Daniel Ricciardo, 5-second penalty he got for that day. And yeah, it's sort of similar. Someone they've been doing it for years in F1, like, but
They just seem to get
yeah.
away with it at the moment compared to what it was like in 2017. So they could get away with it here. I think if they don't report it, it's not going to be a huge factor. But if you're like Suku or Fabi or Lars, you would be angry. I'm almost certain Lars will probably question what KJ has done. But everybody else, I think, is not too bothered because they will probably potentially gain positions off the restart, maybe anywhere on these final few laps. Belgium is the only race where we haven't had a fight for the win. All the other races this season, we've had fights for the win or fights which went onto the final lap for some positions on the grid. So Zandvoort, we could see another great fight. I didn't think we would see this, to be honest.
What we're seeing now is the 3 drivers who were out on the intermediates have all went on to the softs now.
Oh my god, they're going opposite. Wait, Lamborghini is in the pits.
Yeah.
Is he going on softs as well?
Behind, I think, and thinking, do you know what? I want to go back on the softs. This isn't good enough for me. Softs, let's see.
Yeah, he's going on softs.
Okay.
Oh god.
I mean, they're stacking these Alfa Romeos, so they're convinced. So we're gonna have half the field on the softs and half the field on the inters. Sadly, of course it's this way. The leader on the softs has a frickin' penalty. It just always happens this way. It's so frustrating when someone who's in the lead for the strategy ends up on the bloody penalty.
Oh, Greeny!
No idea how frustrating this is. Well, you do, because I'm telling you. But why is it always like this?
What penalty did he get? How many penalties did he get? He's only got 3.
It's just because, why couldn't you be at the back? Let the people who haven't got penalties who are faster than you just go push on, because that ruins it a little bit for me. But we'll see it anyway. So we're going to have the split on the strategy. Inters versus wets. And the guys who have went onto the soft, they seem very much committed to this.
Yeah.
And we're still waiting for a matchup. I wonder if the safety car might set another lap, because they might give the others on inters a chance to pit, but obviously they'd be giving up the track position, which is crucial around this track. Will those lights go out on the safety car? Let's see.
No DRS disabled soon. Actually, no, we won't get the DRS disabled because obviously it's not in the safety car. So, but
it depends if we'll get it enabled. That's what we're going to look for. But I think the safety car is going to set another lap because CC Grid and Fenny have just not caught up.
And the light's still on. It would have gone off, I would say, after the DRS straight, and the safety car light's still on as well. So yeah, it will be on for another lap. I think we're just waiting for 2 cars to catch up. Actually.
Yeah.
Is Fenny a lap down? Is Fenny a lap down?
I don't think so, no.
Well,
we're on the same lap.
I think he was.
Suku's into the pits. Igoro's in the pits as well. I don't think Fenny's a lap down because he's got... Yeah, he's not a lap down.
I think he was before the safety car, but then due to everyone else pitting, that put him back into the race again. So,
yeah, so we've only got 6 people. Oh, Igoro's went on some more inters. I don't think he went to do that. Right, so he's on
let's
inters.
look. So Igor's on inters, the top 6 on inters, everyone else on softs.
And of course, let's say the leader of the opposition, sitting right here, is on the penalty. So he's going to really have to get a move on here because that's not going to just be frustrating me and Conrad, but it's going to be frustrating Namakina and Hadler, who are going to be all over it thinking, are you serious? We're trying to get the grid and you're the one with a penalty. That could create some drama.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that we're going to have these guys all on the soft tyres racing against the intermediates, even though it's raining, is already enough. We'll see pretty quickly which is the right tyre, I'd imagine, right now. But the safety car lights should be going off at the end of this lap. I don't see any reason why they won't be. We've all caught up now. And yeah, just keep your eye on those lights.
Here it is.
Safety car in this lap. All these pit stops have been happening under safety car. They haven't done a single green flag lap with these intermediates at full speed yet. The leaders, all the reference we have is that Toxic Tomato crashed out of a race on them. And the others were a good 10 seconds off the pace of the likes of Gill and Balner and the rest when they were on the softer, the drier tyres. So, yeah, maybe the soft runners are in the right position, but Gill is the one controlling the restart. And that is the first thing they're going to have to deal with here because this is going to be a fascinating finish here in Zandvoort. I know the F1 stream is on. You'd be silly to go watch it right now because this is one of the most unpredictable finishes we're going to see for a while. This is a bit like Singapore once again, where somehow, even though it's raining, the dry tyre looks pretty handy. we'll see how this all goes. Because look at Gill, he's still weaving away. It's like waiting for the start of the Indy 500, honestly. When's he going to put his foot down?
This reminds me of
He's just
Magello.
waiting. He's waiting and waiting.
Here he goes.
Gone. He's away. The race is back underway, and we're already banging wheels of Elting. We're 3 wide, in fact. Lars and Luca as well, going for this in towards turn 1. And Elting moving on the brake. Now to cover his line, he's back up into the podium positions. He made those 2 places. He lost in the pits. Good stuff from him there. All the people on the softs. We've already had one of them spinning off. That is Fenny. But so far, Greeny on board with him at the minute, and
Lamborghini's
it's not looking
gone
too good because Lamborghini's gone as well. Oh, maybe the softs aren't good enough because now we've got other soft runners trying to pass, and we've got Igoro who's sat on the inters right behind these soft runners trying to get through. Elting's all over the back of Ballon trying to make it a race in .12. Suddenly the rain looks a lot heavier, Jess.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the softs, 1 minute we thought the softs made the right decision, but I think the softs made the wrong decision. So I think it's going to be unpredictable from P7 onwards. From P1 to 6, they're going to be absolutely delighted that the rain's falling this hard, because I think this is going to be positions as they are in the race. The top 6, they got no penalties, unless there's DRS, which it doesn't look like there's going to be DRS. I can see a bit of spray on the track, and you can hardly see anything. We're going to wait until lap 33. If we don't see DRS enabled, that'll mean the guys on the soft will have to go into the pits. If we do see DRS enabled, that means it's still enough for slicks, but they'll probably struggle. So Greeny's not doing too bad though. He's trying to keep up to World Rally, but he can't get past him. So I think it's definitely Inters, I think, right now, because Greeny, he just can't get past.
All the soft runners are deep into turn 1. Igoro back into the top 10. Maybe pitting for Inters wasn't a bad decision as we lose Fenny in the pit lane. He's accepted defeat on that one by the looks of it. But Igoro is carving through the soft runners, is sort of, confirming that it is seemingly an intermediate track now. But it's just surprising how many people had welded the softs. I guess they just were not expecting the rain to get heavier. That's what's caught them out. Fair play for trying, but that's Lamborghini, the championship leader, down in 12th place now.
And I'm just trying to remember who was second place in the standings, because we didn't really go through the standings. It was Hadler. It was Hadler who was also on the soft. So who's on the Inters, who's closer in the standings to Lars? But we also got KJ as well.
He's only, let me try and get the points up. He's 11 points off, so he's going to need to make another couple of positions up to take the championship lead. But either way, he's definitely closing the gap in this Haas.
That's exciting.
And only gonna
DRS enabled.
DRS enabled. Well, Greeny's struggling still. Igoro's pushing along. All that means is that we're going to get the intermediate runners at the front using DRS against each other, which is good. That's meaning we're going to get a good DRS fight between us at the end of the race. But Igoro, still making the way out the field, he's doing quite well. He's pretty happy with that pit stop decision, I guess, to go for the intermediates, because, yeah, he's gone from, P13 on the restart to now P9 and still making his way up the field. So that's going well for him at the moment. But all the focus is going to be at the front of the grid. Can anyone challenge Gill? It has to be said, with his ERS, Gill is looking pretty solid at the front. Ballner cannot keep up, and he's used nearly half his tank, while Gill's is still nice and full.
Yeah, Gill's been doing very well all race. I think he's done his strategy calculations, and he correctly predicted when the rain was going to come as well. So that helps him decide what time was going to go. Maybe that's why Greeny and the likes of Greeny slowed down across the line to go on a different strategy earlier on as well. But again, he's 4 seconds down the road to World Rally. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Igoro gets past Hadler into P8.
DRS move into that chicane. That's something we didn't think we'd see today.
No.
That's incredible stuff. Well done, Igoro. Okay, you got the tire advantage, but still, we didn't think we'd see that at all. And look at World Rally. He's all over the back of his teammate. Both have DRS, of course, but no real fighting happening there with AlphaTauri teammates. Sitting in a decent enough position right now. Are they going to want to mess it up for each other, or are they just going to go for the result? Fenny's now left the set. She's completely uninterested because this top 6, they're all on their own. There's no point throwing this all away now. You just want to get to the end. Racing Point, Haas and AlphaTauri all looking to try and break in, because they are currently sitting 5th, 6th and 7th in the Constructors' Championship, with Haas being the lead team of that with Racing Point, and then AlphaTauri behind them. So this is a big result for those 3 teams. They're going to want to just sort of keep it clean, I think.
I I think you could
Which
tell
is
these three
sad
teams will
for
work
the
together.
racing. Well, it's like I said, it's sad for the racing point of view, but racing point as a team. I'm not talking about it. And for us watching the race, bad for us. But for them in the championship, yeah, they're going to work together and just make sure they get to the line here because it's a massive result for them.
Yeah, I believe KJ's in the middle of so he's got a racing point that's leading, but he's in third. But I think without that spin, it would have been a racing point 1-2. So what could have been for KJ, I think, in this race? But he's still giving it full beans anyway, as we're about to start the penultimate lap of this race already. Gill leads from Bannon. We've got KJ, Lars, the two Alpha Towers in 5th and 6th. Greeny on the hand is going to lose another position to Igoro. Igoro could be on for his best finish. I believe he got P8 in Austria, or P9 in Austria, I can't remember, a few weeks ago. That was his best result. He could be on for a much better result here due to the fact that he decided to go on the right tyre.
P9 is best result so far this season. He's got 2 points on the board so far, currently sitting right down in P21 in the championship, so he'll be very much taking the points he's going to earn today, as long as he can get to the finish again. For him now, it's just about getting to the finish. He's got through all the cars he needs to. Greeny has a penalty anyway, so he knows he's looking pretty good. Back at the front, half a second. Ballner, is he going to try and put a late charge on Gill to maybe try and nick this race win? He's getting close, but with Gill's ERS, I don't imagine Ballner will have a shot, but you just never know with maybe the wing angles. What did Gill do in the pit stop? Did he add more wing? Will it slow him down on the straight? Can Ballner with a DRS sort of counteract the extra ERS advantage that Gill will have as we come round to start the final lap here at Zandvoort? Gill not using the ERS by the looks of it, but Ballner with the DRS just hasn't got enough ERS left now to challenge for it. And if he wants to get this win, he's going to have to be creative with this one. He's going to be putting Gill under pressure. Hasn't won a race since Season 26 F1 USA. The champion of Season 26 F1 moved to Wales for Season 27 and is here now in F2, trying to get back at the speed and looking to get back onto the top set of the podium. He will be feeling the pressure, and he is using his DRS now just to stay ahead, but the gap still just 0.3 of a second. Gill a little bit wide, but keeping it all on the road. Little tad slidey as well on the exit. But I think, as we've said all day, it's going to just be because of the track. It's so difficult to overtake. Fighting for the last points position, by the way, we've got CC Brain up there ahead of Hadler and Amakina. Could still make a point because there's only 0.2 of a second between that whole group. So we'll keep our eye on that one. But here's Ballner, his last opportunity on the DRS. I don't think he's going to have enough for this one. No one behind him going for any moves either. Like I say, big day in the constructors for all this top 6. So they're all going to want to get to the line. It looks like Gill is going to be the one to get round there first. Just 2 more corners to go. This is where KJ lost the back end earlier. Gill's just going to make sure he gets through now. And when he does, he's going to see that check flag. And Gill is going to return to the top step of the podium. What a drive from the Racing Point driver as he crosses the line to win. Ballner second, KJ third. A bit of a pile up there across the line. Lars fourth, Luca is in 5th, World Rally 6th. And then we're going to have Igoro in 7th. Good drive from him. Good decision on the pit stop as well for the intermediates. Greeny is in 8th. He has the 3-second gap, so we will keep it. Fabian 9th and CC Brain will take the last point. And that is Gill, the race winner.
First race win since USA last season, and he definitely earned that. And he's got drive of the day in game as well. And to be fair, with the choice he made in this race, I think it's definitely deserved for him to get that drive of the day as well. Could this give them the confidence he needs to maybe get into this championship fight? We never know. He got a podium already this season. He was hoping to get a win, and he's already done so. 2 racing points on the podium too. That's looking good for the constructors, I would say. But yeah, we have no Dutch person on the top step. It wasn't Ballner on this occasion, but it is the Frenchman of Gill that takes the top step on the podium, and he wins the race.
Yeah, brilliant strategy from Gill. I mean, I said it earlier that it's always been the general complaint. I think it's actually might have been. I think Gill won this race in season 26 in a rather similar manner.
Yep, he did.
With going for the alternate strategy, and that's where it caused so much debate because a lot of people were very upset about it. Or sorry, no, it wasn't in that race. It's Onyx, but it was in that championship fight. There was a lot of complaints. He might have actually been the one complaining, but regardless, there was a lot of complaining, and it's exactly for these types of strategies. But Gill's the one who's taking advantage today. That's the important thing. He's won the race. from Ballner and Eltink, the top 3. Lars in 4th place. He gets to close in on Lamakina, the championship leader. So that should be nice and close for the second half of the season. Luca 5th, World Rally 6th, Agoro 7th, Greeny 8th, Fabi 9th, and CC Brain taking him the final point. Then outside the top 10, you've got Hadler, Lamakina, and Suko. And then the retirements, you've got Fenny, Toxic Tomato, Caden, and Benny.
Greeny also gets the fastest lap point for getting the lap inside the top 10, so he gets an extra point. So instead of 3 points, I believe, for 8th, he gets 4 points today. So that's a good thing for Greeny after the wrong decision to go on the sauce. So not too bad, not too shabby for the Renault driver. But yeah, all in all, it was not a bad race. It got interesting towards the end, but with how hard it is to overtake, I don't think there wasn't going to be many overtakes there. It just came down to where you were on track, really. So that really helped Gil in that regard as well, and I think Gil will be delighted about that. Lars will be good to miss out on the victory. Same with Ballina too. Definitely KJ, I think. I think without that mistake, KJ would have definitely been on for the win today.
In fairness with KJ, I think it's worth pointing out that obviously with the pit stops for the intermediates, he would have been held up anyway.
Yes.
So I think he should hopefully take some sort of, okay, look, I wasn't going to win anyway from that, but he will know the mistake was a bit frustrating, but at least he still ended up on the podium. And yeah, crazy conditions out there. I've never seen that before, where half the grid's just decided, you know what, it's a wet track, I'm going to stick dries on. But yeah, well, there you go. That's what's happened. It's certainly going to throw the championship into some sort of chaos in the second half of the season, so we're almost looking forward to seeing how that's going to go. Next race, where are we for the next race, actually? We are in Le Castellet. No one likes that place except me. So, yeah, we love that place for this game. Racing is always good there, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they all get on there.
Yeah, me too. And we do have our race winner waiting in the in the waiting room to have an interview. So that's great to see. So, Gil, can you hear us? I'm guessing you cannot hear us. Gil, are you there?
Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations on your first win since season 26. You nailed the strategy today. Tell us how does it feel after being on transitioning into the wheel? How does it feel to actually get your first win in PSGL since then?
I think the reverse strategy is back.
Yes.
It's P1. Yes, I'm very happy. The quality was very bad. I had some issues with my pedals, so I didn't have a good feeling. So I spent 2 times. But after that, I saw the rain in the end of the race, so I decided to start with hards, and that was a good strategy. And after that, I tried to have a good pace, and I hoped for the rain because my tires were gone. When the safety car came out, my tires were 80%, I guess.
Ooh.
So that was close.
That was very close, actually. I think, would you have stayed out if there was no safety car, or would you have had to pit for the Inters anyway?
I think I would have pit because... but the safety car saved me because I didn't have any option. The track wasn't wet enough, and I couldn't stay forever on track, so the safety car was perfect.
Yeah, going back to your qualifying lap with your broken pedals as well. If you have nailed that lap a lot better, do you think you would have done similar to what maybe Greeny would have done, slow down across the line to go on the alternate strategy, or was the alternate strategy your plan all along, despite the problems you had at quali?
I didn't plan anything yet. I didn't really practice for this race, and
there you go. There you go. Just don't listen to Gil. Do not give up in races like this, because even if you have a bad qualifying, you can still go on and win the race as well. So that was great to see from you as well. So are there any tracks on the calendar that you could replicate that maybe result tonight and potentially could claw your way up back in the championship fight?
I don't know the calendar, so I don't know.
but do you think you could fight against the top guys, or are you just aiming for the best of the rest at the moment?
To be honest, the championship is not my goal for now, and I might miss a race before the end. So
Okay.
I'm here for pleasure. So I'm very happy to win this race.
Yes, and next week is France, your home track. You stopped Banner from getting the win in his home race. I wonder if many people would try and stop you next week.
If it's my home race, I will try everything to win.
Nice. Owen, any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, well, first of all, welcome back to the top step. Good to see you back after a while away. But got to ask, what were you thinking when everyone was going onto the softs under that safety car? Because we couldn't quite figure out what everyone was going to do with that.
It wasn't really wet on track, and the engineer told us the track was drying up, so that was very strange. And it was raining, but he said that it was drying up. So yes, they tried to pit again for soft. I thought it was a good strategy, but it was not. So it was good.
All right, fair enough. Well, like I say, congratulations. Good to see you, like I say, back on the top step. Hopefully you can push forward, man.
Thank you.
Yep, so that was our race winner in the commentary box. I don't think we have anyone else in the interview box, but I can see in the Twitter chat Balliner was happy with P2. I thought he would be disappointed with P2, but he was happy with that anyway. So next week we head to, as Owen said earlier, the French Grand Prix at Le Castellet. He likes the track. I'm a bit meh, but it provided some good action last season, so I'm looking forward to it as well. Again, like this week, it has known in the past to have some rain, so that could potentially be the case there. And then we head to Canada after that. Now we got Japan, Azerbaijan, and then Brazil. So that rounds up your season. But next week we'll head to France anyway. Thanks to Owen for joining me in the commentary box once again. Thanks to everybody for watching. You can now watch the other tiers. Now you can watch F1, F5, and F6 now whilst we have some food because I'm starving. Anyway, have a good evening, everybody, and we will see you next week, same time, 7 p.m, for the French Grand Prix. Goodbye.